Mongol Empire, at its height, was the largest contiguous land empire in world history, covering vast territories across Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. While its military prowess and conquests are widely discussed, its governance, how it ruled over diverse populations and vast regions, remains a subject of great interest. The Mongols' ability to maintain control over such a large and varied empire for nearly 2 centuries can largely be attributed to their innovative system of governance, which combined elements of traditional nomadic rule with sophisticated regional administration. In this context, the Mongol system of governance was a delicate balance between loyalty to the Khan, the nomadic traditions of the Mongol steppe, and the practical needs of governing conquered regions. The nomadic roots of Mongol governance. The Mongols were originally a confederation of nomadic tribes from the Central Asian steppes. The political structure of these tribes was heavily influenced by the needs of the pastoralist lifestyle, which involved mobility and flexibility. In this early stage of Mongol history, leadership was based on kinship ties and loyalty to a central leader, or Khan, who had supreme authority over his people. However, the nature of nomadic society meant that leadership could be contested, and Khans were often selected by councils of tribal leaders, or kurultai. Genghis Khan, born Temujin, unified the Mongol tribes in the early 13th century through a combination of diplomacy, warfare, and strategic alliances. His rise to power demonstrated the Mongol ability to maintain order and discipline within a loose tribal structure, while also accommodating the needs of an expanding empire. Genghis Khan's leadership, while rooted in nomadic traditions, was marked by a unique approach to governance, which emphasized merit-based promotions and loyalty to the state above tribal affiliations. This departure from traditional nomadic politics, in which power was often passed down through family lines, became a foundational principle of Mongol rule and governance. The Khan's role and centralized power. At the top of the Mongol political structure was the Khan, who was considered the ultimate ruler of the empire. Genghis Khan's title, Universal Ruler, reflected his authority over the vast territories he conquered. However, the Mongol ruler's power was not absolute in the traditional sense. Rather, it was balanced by the presence of other key officials who helped manage various aspects of governance. One of the most important innovations of Mongol rule was the creation of a centralized bureaucracy that helped manage the vast territories of the empire. Genghis Khan was keenly aware of the need for efficient administration to maintain control over such a vast expanse. This led him to appoint trusted officials, many of whom were from outside the Mongol nobility, to key positions of power. These administrators helped to oversee taxation, military affairs, law enforcement, and diplomacy. Despite the establishment of a more centralized structure, the Mongols maintained many aspects of their nomadic traditions. For instance, the Mongols did not rely on a fixed capital city, but rather moved their administrative centers as needed, depending on the seasons and the campaigns in which they were engaged. This mobility was essential for maintaining the central authority of the Khan and allowed the Mongols to adapt to changing circumstances on the ground. Regional governance and autonomy. While the Khan held ultimate authority, the Mongol Empire was divided into several regions, each governed by a prince or a Khan's representative. These regional rulers, known as viceroys, were responsible for overseeing the administration of their territories, maintaining order, and ensuring loyalty to the central authority of the Khan. The size and complexity of the Mongol Empire necessitated this division of governance, as it allowed the central authority to focus on broader strategic concerns, while leaving the day-to-day administration of local affairs to regional leaders. One of the most famous examples of this regional administration was the division of the Mongol Empire after the death of Genghis Khan in 1227. His empire was split into several khanates, each of which was ruled by one of his sons or grandsons. These khanates were the Yuan dynasty, China and Mongolia, ruled by Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson. The Ilkhanate Persia, ruled by Hulagu Khan, another grandson of Genghis Khan. The Chagatai Khanate, Central Asia, which was ruled by descendants of Genghis Khan's second son, Chagatai. The Golden Horde, Russia, governed by the descendants of Jibei and Subutai, two of Genghis Khan's most famous generals. Each Khanate had a high degree of autonomy, with local rulers allowed to maintain their own administrative structures, legal systems, and military forces. However, the overarching unity of the Mongol Empire was maintained through a shared loyalty to the Great Khan, who was often the ruler of the Yuan dynasty in China. This structure allowed the Mongols to govern vast and diverse regions with varying cultures, languages, and customs while ensuring that the empire remained politically unified. The role of religion in Mongol governance. One of the hallmarks of Mongol governance was the policy of religious tolerance. The Mongols, traditionally shamanistic in their beliefs, did not impose their own religious views on their subjects. Instead, they allowed people in the empire to practice their own religions freely, as long as they did not pose a threat to Mongol authority. This policy of religious tolerance helped to stabilize the Mongol Empire, especially as it incorporated many different regions with their own religious traditions. For example, the Yuan dynasty in China was heavily influenced by Confucianism, while the Ilkhanate in Persia was predominantly Muslim. In contrast, the Golden Horde in Russia maintained a largely Orthodox Christian population, while the Chagatai Khanate had a mix of Buddhist and Muslim subjects. The Mongols also patronized various religious institutions, including Buddhist monasteries, Islamic mosques, and Christian churches, further reinforcing the idea of tolerance and coexistence. Mongol rulers such as Kublai Khan were often seen as protectors of the religions in their realm. Kublai Khan, in particular, embraced Buddhism and sought to integrate it into the administration of the Yuan dynasty, even while maintaining a policy of tolerance toward other faiths. This pluralism not only promoted stability within the empire, but also helped to foster cultural exchange and the spread of ideas across the vast territories under Mongol control. Legal systems and the Yasa Code. The Mongols were also known for their legal system, which was based on the Yasa, a code of laws attributed to Genghis Khan. The Yasa was not a written legal code in the traditional sense, but rather a collection of decrees, customs, and directives issued by the Khan to maintain order and justice across the empire. The Yasa covered a wide range of topics, from military discipline to trade regulations, and it was enforced by a combination of Mongol military commanders, local administrators, and tribal leaders. One of the central tenets of the Yasa was the idea of law and order above all else. The Mongols were known for their strict enforcement of the law, with harsh punishments for those who violated it. However, the Yasa was also a flexible system that allowed for local customs and traditions to be incorporated into the governance of various regions. This helped to maintain the loyalty of subject populations, who were often allowed to retain their local legal practices as long as they did not conflict with Mongol authority. Conclusion. The governance of the Mongol Empire was a complex and adaptive system that combined the Mongols' nomadic traditions with the practical necessities of governing a vast and diverse empire. The Mongols maintained a delicate balance between central authority and regional autonomy, allowing them to rule over a variety of cultures, religions, and legal systems. The key to their success was their ability to adapt their traditional nomadic governance structures to the challenges posed by the empire's size and diversity. Through the leadership of Genghis Khan and his descendants, the Mongols established a model of governance that was both innovative and flexible, ensuring the stability of the empire for several generations. In the end, the Mongol Empire's governance was not just a military success, but also a remarkable political achievement, allowing them to maintain control over an enormous and culturally diverse region for almost 2 centuries. This system of governance, characterized by a unique blend of nomadic traditions, centralized authority, and regional autonomy, would influence the political structures of many empires that followed.